she is a little more forgiving of all my flaws.
Michelle Obama has spent decades standing by Barack's side, playing the role of the devoted wife, but now at 61, the cracks in their marriage are impossible to ignore. She's skipping major events, spending more time in Hawaii, and refusing to follow the political path Barack wanted for her. Meanwhile, he's making solo appearances, dodging rumors of a new woman, and struggling to hold their brand together. And after months of silence, Michelle has finally made a move that all but confirms what we suspected. Is this the end of the Obama marriage? Let's discover the perfect couple, or just a carefully crafted image. Since 1989, Barack and Michelle Obama have been one of America's most celebrated couples, a love story that seems straight out of a Hollywood script. A brilliant lawyer meets a charismatic young intern, and together they rise to the very top, becoming the most powerful couple in the world. From their hand-holding strolls across the White House lawn to their playful onstage banter, everything about them has been carefully curated to present the image of an unshakable partnership. But was it all real? Were the smiles, the anniversary tributes, and the viral moments of affection genuine? Or were they just another political strategy designed to reinforce the Obama brand? And now at 61, is Michelle finally ready to break free from the life she never truly wanted? For decades, Michelle Obama has played the role of the supportive political wife. She smiled through campaign rallies, stood beside Barack through grueling elections, and endured the public pressure of being America's first lady. But if you have ever listened closely to Michelle's own words, you would notice something most people missed. She never wanted this life. In fact, she openly admitted that she despised politics. In her memoir, Becoming, Michelle does not sugarcoat it. She reveals that she spent years resenting Barack's relentless ambition, his obsession with politics, and the toll it took on their family. She spoke about how their marriage struggled when he was away from home for weeks on end while she was left to raise their daughters alone. Even before the presidency, Barack's political climb strained their relationship, leading Michelle to secretly attend marriage counseling. That is right, while the world saw them as a picture-perfect power couple, Michelle was privately seeking professional help to keep their marriage from crumbling. But the real bombshell? She admitted that she never wanted him to run for president. She saw what the political world did to families, how it destroyed marriages, and she feared what it would do to hers. She even confessed that she was angry when he first announced his campaign in 2007. Yet, she did what she always did. She played the role expected of her. The supportive wife, the passionate first lady, the woman who stood by his side, smiling, waving, and shaking hands. And Barack, he has his own confessions. In his memoir, A Promised Land, he admits that his presidency strained his marriage like never before. He describes nights where Michelle would go to bed silently fuming, nights where the tension in their home was so thick that he felt physically distant from the woman he had built a life with. His words paint a picture of a marriage under pressure, one that endured the weight of the White House, the media, and the world's expectations. But here's where things get really interesting. If Michelle had always hated the political world, and if their marriage had already gone through so much strain, why did they not separate years ago? Why did she stay even when she knew she was unhappy? The answer is simple: timing. The Obamas were not just a couple, they were a brand, a $70 million empire built on their image as a united, loving family. A divorce in the White House, that would have been catastrophic. The Democratic Party needed them. Their donors needed them, their supporters needed them, and most of all, Barack needed Michelle to maintain his legacy. But recent events tell a different story. Is this the beginning of the end? Is Michelle finally breaking free from the political marriage that defined her for decades? And more importantly, was the Obama love story just another carefully crafted illusion? The breaking point, recent developments that have America talking. The Obama marriage, the picture-perfect union that defined a presidency that built an empire that had Americans believing in the fairy tale, is unraveling right before our eyes. And this time, the evidence is undeniable. For years, whispers of tension followed Barack and Michelle Obama, but now those whispers have turned into full-blown speculation, fueled by a series of shocking public absences, strange behavior, and eyebrow-raising rumors. The most powerful couple in modern Democratic politics is suddenly living separate lives, and America is finally paying attention. The most shocking moment came on March 5th, 2025, when Barack Obama was seen courtside at a high-profile NBA game in Los Angeles. This was no ordinary night out. Barack was seated among the elite, appearing relaxed and unbothered as he cheered and laughed alongside Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. The cameras flashed to him multiple times, capturing his solo presence in one of the most exclusive sections of the arena, but there was something missing. or rather someone missing, Michelle Obama. This marked yet another major event where Barack was seen alone, fueling rumors that something is deeply wrong behind the scenes. This is not an isolated incident. In fact, it follows a pattern that has been building for months. When President Jimmy Carter passed away, political figures from both parties gathered to pay their respects at his funeral. It was an event filled with history, with every former president in attendance, including Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and of course Barack Obama. But while the other former presidents had their wives standing beside them, Barack was the only one without his spouse. Michelle, who has a long history of participating in major political memorials, was completely absent. This was particularly strange, given that she and Barack had always emphasized their close relationship with the Carter family, frequently praising their work and humanitarian efforts. Michelle's absence at Carter's funeral was not just a scheduling conflict. This is the same woman who attended John McCain's funeral in 2018, despite the long-standing political rivalry between McCain and Barack. She was also front and center at George H.W. Bush's memorial service that same year, sitting right beside Barack as the cameras captured their presence. So why then did she skip Jimmy Carter's funeral? Then came Donald Trump's second inauguration. Michelle Obama may not have liked Donald Trump, but in 2017, she showed up to his first inauguration, maintaining the long-standing tradition of former first ladies, attending the peaceful transition of power. The images of Michelle sitting beside Barack, her expression cold and unreadable, became iconic. But in 2025, when Trump was sworn in for his second term, Michelle was nowhere to be seen. Unlike before, she did not make a statement about putting country over personal grievances. She did not release a carefully crafted social media post about unity and respect for democracy.
People think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband.
And neither she nor Barack offered any real explanation. Instead of being in Washington, Michelle was reportedly spending more time in Hawaii, where she has taken multiple extended trips over the last year. The Obamas own a lavish estate in Oahu, one that Michelle has been increasingly drawn to while Barack remains on the East Coast. Sources close to the couple suggest that Michelle's time away is not just a vacation, but an intentional separation, a slow detachment from the world she never wanted in the first place. While Michelle is staying out of sight, Barack has been doing the opposite, frequenting upscale restaurants in Washington, D.C., often dining alone or in the company of high-profile friends, but never Michelle. The former president, who spent years playing the role of the devoted husband, is now appearing in more and more solo public outings, raising questions about what exactly is happening behind the scenes. Then there's the wildest twist of all, the rumors about Barack and Jennifer Aniston. While this might sound like a tabloid fantasy, it is one of the most talked about bombshells circulating in media circles right now. The speculation started when multiple sources claimed that Barack had developed a close admiration for the Hollywood actress, with whispers that their paths had crossed more times than the public realized. Jennifer Aniston was even forced to address the speculation head-on, denying any romantic connection and insisting that she had met Barack only once in passing. But the fact that she had to issue a public denial at all speaks volumes. If there was nothing to it, why did the story gain so much traction? And why is Barack's social life suddenly a hot topic of discussion? Michelle, for her part, Jimaro, has remained eerily silent. While she has never been one to engage with tabloid gossip, her lack of response to these ongoing rumors is telling. If everything were fine, if these speculations were completely baseless, wouldn't she have shut them down by now? Instead, she has continued to keep her distance. Even within Democratic circles, people are starting to talk. The Obama brand was one of the strongest assets the Democratic Party had, built on the image of an unshakable marriage and a unified family. But now that image is fading, and some are beginning to question whether the carefully crafted story is finally falling apart. Meanwhile, conservatives have wasted no time pointing out the hypocrisy. When Donald and Melania Trump were rumored to have marital issues, liberal media pounced, dissecting every single moment of distance between them. But now with Barack and Michelle, the same outlets are strangely quiet, brushing off the mounting evidence as if it does not exist. If the roles were reversed, if Melania had started living separately from Donald, if Donald had been seen at exclusive events without her, CNN and MSNBC would be running wall-to-wall coverage. So are we about to witness the biggest Democratic divorce in modern history? The truth is, this shift did not happen overnight. The warning signs have been there for years. Michelle has always been open about her resentment toward Barack's political career. She has made it clear that she never wanted to be a politician's wife. And now at 61 years old, it seems she has finally had enough. The most suspicious part, Barack and Michelle have yet to directly deny the divorce rumors. They have posted carefully curated anniversary messages, made strategic social media appearances, but they have never directly addressed the growing speculation. And when a power couple like the Obamas avoid speaking the truth head on, that usually means there is something they do not want the public to know. The political rift, the real reason Michelle may be done. For years, Democrats have been waiting, hoping, practically begging for Michelle Obama to step up and save their party. But every time she has given them the same answer, no. No matter how much pressure she faces, no matter how many donors, strategists, or even Barack himself have encouraged her to run for president, Michelle Obama has flat out refused. And now, as the distance between her and Barack grows, insiders are asking, did Michelle's rejection of a political future create a rift so deep that their marriage could never fully recover? For more than a decade, Michelle Obama has been the Democratic Party's secret weapon. While Barack's presidency had its highs and lows, Michelle remained one of the most beloved figures in American politics, consistently ranking higher than her husband in approval ratings. She was charismatic, relatable, and most importantly, untouchable. Even Republicans had a hard time criticizing her. In an era where political spouses were often overlooked or ridiculed, Michelle became a cultural icon. She was not just a first lady, she was a movement. Which is exactly why, the moment Barack left office, the pressure campaign began immediately. Within months of Donald Trump's election in 2016, political insiders started the whispers. Michelle needs to run. It was a desperate attempt to salvage a party that had been humiliated by Trump's victory. And on paper, Michelle seemed like the perfect candidate, popular, experienced in the White House, and most importantly, a direct contrast to everything Trump represented. The Democratic elite wanted her to be their savior, but Michelle never wanted that life, and she made it clear. In interview after interview, she was blunt. She hated politics. She had seen what the political world had done to her marriage, how it had stolen years from her life, and she was not willing to sacrifice any more of her time for a system she did not even believe in. There's zero chance, she told audiences in 2019, not in a million years. She went on to describe politics as a dirty game, a place where principles are compromised and where personal destruction is inevitable. Her words were a direct rejection of everything Barack stood for, and that is where the cracks in their marriage may have deepened beyond repair.
Barack and I, we spend most weekends, we're staring at each other.
Barack had spent his entire life in politics. His identity was built around it. Even after leaving the White House, he remained deeply involved in the Democratic Party's future, working behind the scenes to mentor younger politicians, fundraise, and shape the party's next generation. He believed in the system. He believed in the power of political legacy. And in his mind, Michelle was part of that legacy, but Michelle never saw it that way. To her, politics was Barack's dream, not hers. And once she got the chance to escape, she was never going to walk back into that world. Sources close to the couples say that Barack was not happy about her refusal. While he publicly supported her decision, insiders claim there was tension behind the scenes. Barack saw Michelle's potential, her ability to command a crowd, to inspire people in a way that no other Democrat could. He reportedly believed she had a duty to use that influence to step up for the party at a time when it was struggling to find strong leadership. And when she refused, he took it personally. That tension only grew over time. While Barack remained politically engaged, Michelle was building a completely different life, one that had nothing to do with him. She became an author, a speaker, a philanthropist, and a businesswoman, earning millions in book sales and speaking engagements. Her memoir, Becoming, sold over 15 million copies, making it one of the best-selling political memoirs in history.
Signing her new book at the tattered cover. Mrs. Obama just wrapped up an event at the Pepsi Center.
She launched her own foundation focusing on education and health initiatives while Barack continued to operate in political circles. But perhaps the most telling sign that Michelle was stepping away from the Obama brand came in how she started talking about her own personal happiness. In interviews, she no longer referred to her marriage as a central part of her life's success. She spoke about self-care, personal fulfillment, and independence. She openly discussed how difficult the White House years had been, describing them as a time of sacrifice, frustration, and loss of identity. The more she spoke, the clearer it became. Michelle had outgrown the role of Barack's political partner, and now at 61 years old, she is reclaiming her life. She spends more time in Hawaii than in Washington, more time focused on her own work than on supporting Barack's political efforts. She is no longer playing the role the Democratic elite expected her to, and that, more than anything, may be why her marriage is no longer the same. Damage control and the future of the Obamas' marriage. On Valentine's Day 2025, Barack and Michelle Obama did something that should have reassured the world. They posted heartfelt tributes to each other. But instead of silencing the growing rumors about their marriage, the posts only added fuel to the fire. Were these messages genuine, or were they carefully crafted PR moves designed to kill the divorce speculation before it spiraled out of control? And if their marriage is as strong as they claim, why has no one seen them together in months? Barack's post was simple but sentimental. 32 years together and you still take my breath away, he wrote alongside a throwback picture of the couple smiling in a moment that seemed too perfect to be spontaneous. Michelle's post echoed the same warmth, calling Barack her rock, the one person she could always count on. The comments were flooded with fans expressing admiration for their relationship, praising them as the gold standard for modern marriages, but others were skeptical. If everything was fine, why did this feel so forced? Like, this is where the speculation becomes impossible to ignore. If Barack and Michelle were truly unbothered by the divorce rumors, they could have easily put them to rest with a single appearance together, a foundation event, a casual outing, even a dinner at one of their usual DC spots. But instead, they remained separate, with Michelle spending an increasing amount of time in Hawaii while Barack continues making solo appearances on the East Coast. And now, political insiders are whispering about what this could mean for the Democratic Party as a whole. The Obamas are not just a couple, they are a brand that the Democratic Party has relied on for over a decade. Their image of unity, stability, and class is a core part of the party's appeal to younger voters and minorities. But if the rumors of their separation continue to spread, what happens to that brand? Could a divorce shake up Democratic politics in ways no one saw coming? Some strategists believe it could be a devastating blow ahead of the 2028 election cycle, where the party is already struggling to define its next generation of leadership. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Click the next video for more exciting content.